This is the Jill Bennett Show on 980 CKNW. We are talking about the BC budget. The details released about an hour ago, still going through all of the spending. We do know that it is the largest ever forecast deficit in BC history, and a lot of spending, a lot on housing, as well as healthcare spending included in there also. Well, let's find out what Cory Redekop thinks about this. Cory Redekop is the CEO of the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce and is joining us on the line now to talk more about the budget. Thank you so much for your time today. Hi, Cory, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, there we are. Yes, sorry
about
that.
Perfect. How are you doing, Jill?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, yeah.
Excellent. What are your thoughts on what we know, the spending that was announced in the budget today?
Yeah, well, a little staggering, the quote you had there that it's the biggest deficit in provincial history, because I recall a few years ago we kind of had a global pandemic, so I would have thought that would have been when we blew the bank. So it is a bit, the numbers on the spending is a bit shocking, and where we're going on debt and deficits is a bit concerning, because if anything doesn't turn out quite as rosy as expectations are, and where does that leave us? But so there's concerns on that part, but I know you had a previous guest who mentioned the employer health tax, the EHG. Obviously, we're very pleased with that. That's been 5 years of work from the small business community to try to get some action on that. So we're thrilled to see some movement on that, which will put actual dollars, real dollars, back in small businesses' pockets.
Any idea how many businesses will be impacted by this? Even when we look at Langley and in that area, going from raising the threshold from $500,000 to $1 million?
Oh, it'll be countless businesses in Langley and across the province. I mean, it'll be, if you got to think if 500,000 was the current threshold, so that only gets you 8 or 9 employees, depending on their payroll sometimes. So I mean, this is going to capture a lot of these are actual small and medium businesses that are going to be impacted. And if you've got a payroll of around $1 million, I mean, that's $14,000 a year that you can spend on wages, that you can spend on investment in your business. I mean, I know a small medical company that's in Langley here that they're paying $2,400 every quarter, and that money could be way better spent on things to actually grow the business. So we're really pleased to see some actual tangible actions. There's that one. There's the cut to the hydro rate, which is going to add a few $100s back into businesses' pockets as well for a small business. So there are some tangible things, and that's what we were hoping to see. We didn't want another program that businesses had to apply for to get any help. We wanted to see take less money from the get-go. So on those two things, at least we saw some positive action on cuts to taxes and costs for business.
I know the threshold didn't go as high as a lot of groups were asking, and the ask had been $1.5 million for the threshold. Do you think there will be some businesses that are upset that because they won't meet that $1 million threshold?
Well, I think, we were all asking for 1.5, and I think that would have aligned us with some of the other provinces in the country, and that would have given us an even better boost for businesses. I'm not going to balk at the million, so that we'll take that for sure. But I mean, I think you'll see if you're in business that's between that 1 and 1.5 payroll, you'll see some savings. But as you get to 1.5, there'll be no change for you. So we would have liked to have seen more action on that, but you can't always get what you want. So we're pleased to at least get some tangible action. I remember 5 years ago, I was in the chamber world. We were, as chambers, we were really pushing against this. It was a huge shift of tax from, remember the MSP premiums that all went onto the backs of small businesses. So it was a big tax burden. It's $3 billion now. So this is, of that $3 billion, this is $100 million coming back. So let's not lose the scale or the proportion of that. But it's $100 million that can be better spent in our economy supporting businesses, which needs something. Because I'm in Victoria today. I was here last year for the budget, and there wasn't really anything in the cupboard for businesses. So at least we got 2 things that came out explicitly is to support the bottom lines of our small business community.
You mentioned as well the electricity affordability credit. So that looks like it's going to work out. So it's an average $100 rebate on electricity through either Hydro or Fortis for homes. Small businesses, according to these numbers, saying that they'll save an average of $400 over the course of the year. And again, not a huge amount of money for a business, but I'm guessing, if I'm getting your tone, it's every little bit helps.
Well, I think it's every little bit helps on either way. So often our complaint with governments is they don't realize that there's 4 levels of government and they all add little pieces of tax on. So it's never one poison pill, it's all these layers. So it works in reverse. So yes, it's nice to get little bits back, and if we can kind of keep that momentum, we can help make it a little bit more competitive here for businesses in BC. But yeah, you're right. It's $100 for on average for a residential customer. For an average small business kind of retail shop, they're saying about $400 on your hydro. But if you're bigger than that, if you're a manufacturer, you have lots of equipment, you're a bigger consumer, it's 4.6% of your 2023 hydro consumption. So it can go up from that. So and I was chatting with the hydro leadership here today. There's no real cap on that. So for bigger employers or people who maybe have, if you're a baker and your ovens and your mixers are going all the time and you have a big hydro bill, then it'll be more than that 400. But again, even at a small retail shop, if they can save $5,000, $7,000, $14,000 on EHT, if they can save $400 or $500 on hydro, those are real dollars that they again can spend on marketing their business, trying to bring in new products, trying to keep their employees happy and keep retention going. I mean, there's lots of things that business owners can spend the money on better than sending it to government.
And I know you're with the chamber, but looking at some of the other announcements in this budget, some of the other details, looking at the BC Family Benefit Bonus that's being expanded a bit. Do you see things in this budget that will help people in a way that maybe they will be able to spend more at businesses, or that will kind of trickle down and also be a benefit for businesses?
Well, exactly, right. I mean, for me, I mean, we work at the intersection of business and community. We don't think you can have a successful business community if your community at large is not doing well, and vice versa. Try to have a good community, a good city if your businesses are struggling. So we kind of need everyone, all boats to be rising, so to speak. So no, I mean, I think with the hydro credit for homeowners, for the BC Family Benefit Bonus, the increase in the carbon tax credit, there's a lot of action on housing. I mean, those are things that if a consumer now finds themselves with a few extra $100 in their pocket, then we're hoping that they would then choose that and hopefully not send it off seas to some big international company that they find online. Hopefully they'll come to downtown Langley or come shop in Walnut Grove or wherever they are, find those local businesses that they can support. And then, that $450 from the family bonus, maybe that can have a much bigger economic spin-off if they spend it locally. So, no, I think there's definitely some action and here and a bigger focus on I see kind of middle class, working class people in this budget, which is interesting, a little bit of a pivot for the government, and then I think that will help our members and small businesses if their consumers have and their workers have a bit more cushion as well. So, but I think it's all a balance, because you kind of get that by running the province's biggest deficit that I've ever seen. So there's a trade-off here. I know the government seems to not want to make some of those tough decisions between what services they're going to spend and how they're going to run deficits, and I think they kind of tried to avoid making those hard choices, which isn't necessarily wrong, but we've got to make sure that we're eyes wide open on where we're going and what the next 3 or 4 or 5, 10 years looks like if this is the path we're on.
All right, Cory Redekop, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks, Jill.
That is Cory Redekop, CEO at the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce.